So today I wanted to talk with you a little bit about how I, without really knowing it, almost quit writing. I know that it sounds dramatic, which is not out of character because I am dramatic, but I didn't realize how close I actually came to quitting. So let me give you a little bit of backstory. For over 2 years, I have been working on a project. This project is something that really moves me creatively and emotionally. It's something that I really want to write. It's a story that I really want to tell, but I wasn't able to tell it effectively. Not during the first draft, not during the second draft, and not during the partial third draft. I was in a position where I was putting my butt in the chair and I was getting words down, and I had been getting words down off and on very intermittently for a couple of years. And I continued to come up against all kinds of different responses or feelings that would stop me in my tracks. A couple of times it was something that an early reader said, and a couple of times it was stuff that other people close to me said. The end result was that I continued to feel like I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And the really sad part was that at a certain point, the lowest point in my process with this project, about 9 months ago maybe, I decided to stop working on it, and I decided to trunk it and to put it on a shelf and say, I can't write this. I'm not good enough to write this. I'm not talented enough to write this. I'm not dedicated enough to write this. And I set it aside with the intention of not writing this particular book. And at the time, the most obnoxious part is that I thought that I was doing the hypothetical readership a favor. I feel like I thought I was doing this out of the goodness of my heart, that I was doing the right thing by not writing this. And I went on a retreat that fall, and I talked with some friends, specifically the people that helped me through that moment were Sarah Guillory, Andrea Hanna, and of course Megan Whitmer. And these people sat with me and listened to me cry, and eventually they kind of pointed out to me that I had stopped working on this project because I was afraid. And I think it made sense immediately that I was afraid, because the fear was palpable. I was afraid of being rejected. I was afraid of being hated. I was afraid of being seen as somebody who got something very important wrong. But the really hard part was, once I figured out that I was afraid, being brave enough to dive back in. And that process took another couple of months. And then over spring break, I actually wrote 30,000 words and finished the draft of this book. The thing that I wanted to actually say was not that yay, I did it, I conquered it, I figured it out, and I finished this project, because that's not true. What I wanted to tell you is that it really sounds cheesy, but the projects that are the hardest, the projects that almost kill you, are the projects that you have to finish, that you have to see through to completion. And that means that if it takes you 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, then you go ahead and you invest that 10 years, because it's worth it to finish something that's hard. I can't say that I wasn't working hard, because I definitely wanted this to be a thing. But when I quit because I didn't want to work anymore. I had already worked for 2 years. I didn't want to work more. I didn't want to have to put in another 2 or 3 or 7 years on a project. I wanted it to be done already. And what I think I learned from this experience is that some projects aren't easy. And some projects are almost unbearably hard. If it's important enough, you'll keep fighting. And you'll keep pushing through the mud and the pain and the blood and the tears, and you'll keep waiting or working or trying. And I haven't figured anything out. Nothing's happened. This book has not sold. This book has not even been revised with my agent. This book is not even a thing. But I feel so proud that I finally got my head out of my own way, and I finished a draft of this book that I'm proud of, that I feel like I really learned something already. And no matter what else happens with this book, I learned something really, really important. That sometimes pushing through to the end is where the value lies. So I guess that's really all I wanted to say. Whatever the thing is that you're working on that's just about to kill you, keep going. Because it's not going to kill you. And in the end, it really will make you stronger. So, that's all for me. I'll see you guys next time.